unmute. There we go. Hey, look, I'm unmuted. Woo! Now you can hear me. That was all. I was doing that on purpose. I didn't want you guys to hear what I was doing. It was all private. It's secret stuff. You don't need to hear the first part of the show. I did that on purpose. That's what I always do. I do that for, just because. Make you really want to hear it. Because then when I finally turn it on, you're like, oh, yes. I can hear the picking. The guitar picking. I like the slide. They call this a rock slide. It's a rock slide. I like my little bottle better. Where's my bottle? Thanks for letting me know I was muted. Damn, son. It's like the beginning of like the Looney Tunes. You're like, I should know how to play that. I'm not gonna fucking learn all that. That's all, folks. I'm not muted anymore, am I? What is all this shit? What am I doing here? What is this business? Retouch? What the fuck is retouch? What? I didn't even know I was touching in the first place. What's retouch? What is this thing? Highlight saved your last. Well, I don't want to do any highlight. What are you talking about? Turn my touch off. There we go. Touch off. Oh, the microphone is for muting. Okay, right. That's. I'm just a newbie. I've never done all this. Audio is fine. Okay, that's cool. Cheers. Are you receiving me? Or what is it? What does Robert Plant say? It's like Dallas. Or he's talking. What does he say? Are you receiving? No, I forget his famous. Does anybody remember laughter? There's a lady who's sure. Oh, what's up now? Hey, Sandra. Saddlebum, where's Saddlebum? Nice to see you. All that glitters is gold. There's a lady sure. There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold. She's buying her hair away to Stephen. Her hair away to Stephen. And she's buying her hair away to Stephen. My lighter. So, does anybody remember laughter? Does anybody remember laughter? That's what I want to know. Do you guys remember laughter? Lord Racer Saddlebum, Sandro. We live like in this strange little corner of the internet where we're just like, we're like confronted with psyops and secret agent flat earthers. The crazy weird bot army that comes at you with all kinds of glober fucking propaganda. They're like, where's your map? Where's your map and model? Oh, you don't have one. Ha ha. Ha ha, Flurf. Gotta lie to Flurf. It's like, since when has cosmology turned into like this weird fucking like sport, or like, I don't know what you would call it, like I don't know. It's fucking weird. It's weird, man, I tell you. Because that's like when you're talking about reality and shit, like it should never be the sort of thing where you're like making fun of people. When you're like philosophizing, or like, that's the thing. I think the globe Earth, there is philosophy behind it. It's not exactly fact. And I think it's like a philosophy of just like how much you can like bend a person's mind to believe things, or it's an experiment to see, like, if we teach somebody something as a child, will they believe it later when they grow up and think about it? I mean, these guys, like, well, like with Jaron and Austin, they're going back to the globe. Austin from Mellow Dome, Mellow Globe or whatever. It's like they're going back to the globe, but they're doing it like while being like sort of cocky about it. Like, they're all, ha ha, Flurfs are all, ha ha, you guys, ha, you flat earthers are dumb. It's like, dude, you guys were like the fucking, how do you come off like that? And it's like, you guys were like the figureheads of flat earth. Why are you laughing at us? We're just your audience. The hell's your problem? Is it just me, or is that kind of weird? It's like when you're like talking flat earth to people for like fucking 10 years, and then all of a sudden you're like, just kidding, flat earth is stupid. And they're like, these stupid people watching this flat earth garbage, what the hell's wrong with you? You guys are dumb. Don't you even think about shit? Oh my god, can't believe it. It just seems kind of like a cheap shot, where it's like, I'm going to get all these people thinking this thing, and then I'm going to fucking pull the carpet out from under them and laugh at them. Well, maybe it's not that devious, but it kind of seems like it. Sorry, YouTube yells at me when I smoke pot on camera. They're like, you did drugs on camera. We can't let people watch this now. I'm like, did I? And then they give me a timestamp, and I'm like, oh, yep, I did. Whoops. It's like they were watching that closely. The timestamp, I'm like sitting there with my bong. I'm like, oh my god, this kind of feels weird. Like I'm being spied on by like YouTube bots or whatever. You did drugs in this part of the show, and they give a timestamp. They're like, you can't have this viewed, but this isn't meant for children to watch or something. And I'm like, I know, I don't. That's the thing. I already had it set for not for children to watch or whatever. And like they had to like give me a warrant. They're like had to send me a notification. They're like, this is not okay for kids to see. And I'm like, well, no kidding. That's why I was responsible and said for not for kids. They're like, well, we went ahead and said it not for kids. I'm like, no, you didn't. I did. What the fuck are you talking about? Well, we just go ahead and fix that for you. I'm like, no, I already did. Don't yell at me about something what the fuck? They just wanted to get mad. They just want to tell me how to do things. They don't like old Dr. Bass. They're like, I'm sorry, but you can't be a reverse psychologist because you're not really an MD. You're not like a real doctor. And reverse psychology, that's not like a real science. So you're going to have to go ahead and not be that anymore now. That's just like not real. And like, so we can't have fake stuff on YouTube. They're like, I'm sorry, but you do drugs on YouTube and you say you're a doctor and you're not. I mean, we're gonna have to censor you and like you say things that are not true, like the Earth being flat. And then like after we prove that it's a globe, you still go on saying it's flat. Oh shit, I had the bong on. Ah man. I'm in trouble now. I don't think seeing the 24-hour sun in Antarctica proves a globe. I think it just proves that the sky is a globe. Could that be the answer? Nobody's ever thought of that. Maybe the sky is a globe. Duh, you didn't know? I mean, it's so obvious. The sky is the globe. The ground is flat, dude. Or not flat, but level or whatever, you know. It's the sky that's a globe. Or, I don't know. There's a globe sky that we're inside of. The sky is a globe, and then we're sitting in the middle of it. And it goes around us. No. The sky is a globe, and we're underneath a globe. And it's like the... Oh, no. Let me start over. Yeah. The thing is, you couldn't be on a spinning ball and see star trails diverge in two different directions. Because if you're on a ball and you're spinning one direction, right? Granted, the whole thing where it's like you look this way and the stars are going counterclockwise and you look this way and they're going clockwise. Yeah, that's just like stereographic shit or some shit. I don't know the name of it, but it's still going the same direction. And so there should never be a point on that ball where you're watching the trails in the sky that are due to your motion diverge into two different directions because you're spinning in one direction. I don't know how, if the star trails are diverging in two different directions, then you're not on a spinning ball because a spinning ball is spinning in one direction. So the lights in the sky that are leaving trails are the result of your motion. So those lights in the sky have to be indicating that motion that you're in. If you see the lights in the sky diverging into two different directions, then it can't be the result of you spinning that's causing that because you can't spin in two different directions at the same time. It's impossible. I don't know why nobody has pointed that out. I'm pointing it out. Hey, baby. They just don't want to have to defund NASA. They're like, it's a great jobs program. We don't want to have to defund it. Can we still keep doing NASA? Even if you've debunked our cosmology? I'm like, no, it's fucking lies and bullshit. It's just so phony. But the more money you shovel at NASA, the more rinky-dink they get. It almost looks like it's low budget, but $80 million a day, you think it'd be enough to pay for a better presentation? But they just want to provide indoctrination, and everyone's minds are on vacation. Well, they just play with the green screen and their augmented reality. They want you to believe they're flying through the sky 17,000 miles per hour when they just stand there in their little tin can. ISS to Earth, do you read me? This is the International Space Station calling. We're up here in space doing science. How are you? Good. So what kind of science are you doing? We're doing science that you do in space in the low G environment. That sounds great. Well, what is it? It's the science that people send us to do on our Skylab, this space lab, space station. That's what we're on. Yep. We're floating. Want to see a somersault? You want to see the toilet and see how it works? Do you wonder if there's little space turds floating around? No, we have a vacuum we put our butt up to, see? It sucks the poop into space. The vacuum of space sucks the poop out of this space station. Do you want to see how we pee? We put it in the little hose right there, and girls have to do this right here like this. It's how you use the toilet in space. I want to know about the science. Yes, we have lots of science that we do up here. We grow lettuce, space lettuce. You want to see our space lettuce? Nah, I'm cool. Well, want to see a water bubble floating? Yeah, sure. There, look at this water bubble floating. It looks kind of like a soap bubble floating, but it's not soap. It's a water bubble. So that's the science you guys are doing? No, we have really important science we're working on. We're going to cure all diseases. That's why we're up here. It's very valuable research in a low G environment. We can figure out if things biodegrade quicker in space, or if they're preserved longer, or it's a bunch of sciencey stuff. We don't need to talk about it right now. It's just too technical. You wouldn't probably understand. But we're just trying to tell you that we really appreciate Earth. It's so fragile, and all you Earth-dwelling people, we can see you from up here in space, and we just hope you guys all learn to get along. Any more questions? Yeah, do you guys drink your own pee? Well, we have to. We're in space. There's not a lot of water up here to drink. We recycle the water. Yes, we drink our pee, but we make it taste better before we do. And we don't eat our poo. So, you guys on your space station, do you ever worry about getting struck by micrometeors? Or getting stuck up there without supplies? By the way, how do you make all that air you're breathing? There's no air in space. We have air machines. It pumps out fresh air all day long. How do those air machines work? Well, it's a button we push and it blows out air. Yeah, but you're up there where there is no air, and you're recycling the air that you breathe. You can't really do that. Once you breathe it up, it turns into carbon dioxide. And that's just after a while, you'll keel over and die from lack of oxygen. So how exactly are you keeping the airflow going for so long? We use water and osmosis or something. I'm not the guy that does it, okay? But we do a lot of science, and I just follow orders. We gotta go now, okay? Bye. Why did you let somebody ask real questions? What was that all about? Asking me how we get our air? I don't know the answer to that. I didn't expect that question. You guys got to tell. I thought, what the fuck's going on? Don't put me on the spot like that. You got to wipe that off the record, man. I can't believe you guys let me get asked that question without telling me what first. At least, I don't know how we get our air. How do we get our air up here? Does anybody know? Anybody know how they get their air on the ISS and in space when they go to the moon? What's up now? Do you know? Does they have like just like a it's like an Acme? You know, like the Coyote gets like it's a rocket. Coyote gets Acme rocket. Do they have like an Acme air machine that they get and they just sit in their rocket with their Acme air machine and just breathe all the way to the moon and back? Air to spare. They just like they fucking depressurize the ship, the limb, and the fucking orbiter, and they just keep depressurizing and getting in and out of the ship, going out to get the fucking spacewalk, get the camera, going out, walking around on the moon, just depressurizing and getting in their spacesuits and just back and forth because there's no air. They just have to make sure they have air ready to breathe when they start trying to breathe, because that's something you do constantly, and you're going between these ships and to these places, and like getting out of the ship, and you're doing it often enough to where it's like you think you want to like do it correctly or you're gonna die and suffocate, and you're on live TV, and like I'm just wondering like how do you, and like it's not something that you could have practiced that much before getting there because that was the first time being there. So like these air machines that you guys are relying on, like what? I mean, I just want to know how they work. Does anybody know how they work? How does the air machine work? Does anybody know? Maybe I just didn't do it. Maybe I'm a dumb flurf and I didn't do enough research. Is it really that easy to make air for like indefinite periods of time where they just don't have to worry about it? We better get going. Better head back home because we're running out of air. We're not going to have enough air. That would make me so uncomfortable. I'd be like, dude, let's just make sure we leave when we have like plenty of air to spare still. I don't want to get down to where we're like, like hoping we can get there on time that would be such stressful shit. I can't even believe that people would want to do something like that. I'm pretty sure they don't actually. I don't think there's any real astronauts. So I think it's something that you want to do when you're a kid, and then you grow up, and then you're like, fuck that. That's why you don't know anybody that grew up to be an astronaut. There's no astronauts. Because it's like people, when they're a kid, they're like, that looks like fun. I want to go ride on a rocket and go to the moon. Yeah. Then you grow up and you're like, fuck all that, I don't want to go get inside of that thing. They have those unscheduled disassemblies. I don't want to go ride in a rocket and then go to a place where there's no air and the temperatures are extreme and have to count on my little spacesuit to keep me alive. That seems sketchy, dude. And it's not like going scuba diving. It's a different kind of thing. I just don't want to be an astronaut anymore. I decided no. I don't think there's anybody. Have you ever known anybody that was like, I'm going to pursue my goal of being an astronaut? I'm going to go to the right schools and I'm just going to be an astronaut. I want to be an astronaut. Once you become like a teenager, you're just kind of like, never mind, fuck that. That was just what I was a kid. I was a little kid. I didn't know better, Nobody who grows up and wants to be an astronaut still. Nobody, not a single person, nobody. Maybe there's some people, I guess, I don't know. Like 16 Alpha V, he might want to be. You can take the word Duracell and spell dull race. It's a dull race we're having. It's dull. I have a friend who lives in a tree. No. I have a friend I never see. He hides his head. I have a friend I never see. He hides his head inside a tree. That's how it goes. I have a friend I never see. He hides his head inside a tree. Yeah, that song, song. You don't think that's a good song? I have a friend I never see. I just head inside a tree. Yes, only love can break your heart. Yes, only love can break your heart. All right, that song, I'm kind of tired of that song. Let's do a different song. I'm going to go outside where I'm allowed to smoke, where it's not so like, where it's not such a faux pas. Faux pas. Faux pas. Faux pas. It's a weird word. It's a faux pas. He made a real faux pas of himself. A faux pas is like taboo, isn't it? A faux pas. This is a weird word. A faux pas. It's like a mistake or something. I made a faux pas. You know, they say that perfection is never achieved. And I find that to be perfect. That's perfect in my opinion. I think it's perfect that perfection is never achieved. Hey, wait a minute. I just achieved perfection. I just debunked that whole cliche right there. It was achieved. Because I think it's perfect that perfection is never achieved. Am I allowed to smoke at least on fucking YouTube? Jeez. What a bunch of uptight weirdos monitoring my channel. Perfection is never a cheap knockoff. This one's a little too weird. I don't think I can get into that one right now. A flat head screw driven into the wall can hold the whole house together if you have enough gravity. It would have to be gravity, yes, with a capital G. A force worth its weight in gold, as there is no amount known that gravity can't hold. Wait for the spin. The weight of allegations as to what this magic trick can do is an unknown number, but it's safe to say that gravity is the glue that holds absurd theories together. Regarding everything with mass seeking equilibrium, downward force is not the same as being forced down. It's called weight. Weight! Why do we have to have weight? Because of our mass and our relative density. Well, mass is held together by what? Glue. And that glue is gravity. Yes. When lightning strikes, your hair stands up. What does this one say? If you hear me, oh. Poked in the all-seeing eye of the shitstorm. Choking on free speech, stuck in my throat. Throttled by the hidden hand. Tangled in trip lines, lifelines, deadlines, fine lines. In between the lines, in my lane, at light speed. A sudden fork in the road would split me in two right now. I'd be like, okay, fuck. Crap. You go this way and I'll go that. Every road goes to the same damn place. However the cards may fall, you've seen one place, you've seen them all. And it's all the same everywhere you go. Every place has the same damn every place has the same damn people there. Different faces, different names. It's the same fucking shit everywhere you go. Which is cool. It's fine with me. I don't care. Collective crude conjecture accrued. Collective crude conjecture accrued. Blinded like bats, battling these beings, been baited to begin pulling threads in loosely knitted narratives until the naked truth becomes bare. Unto those who seek to see what's been made unseen. Unseen scenery seemingly schemed up to be occulted until the sea change pulls the curtain. The wool gets pulled from the eyes of the sheep. The great unwashed finally hose themselves off. The great hosing off of the great unwashed. Yeah, that's a good one right there. The great hosing off. Hollywood is there to pull the woolly hood over the eyes of the sheep. That's what it is. Hollywood is there to pull the woolly hood over the eyes of the sheep. Sitting in the hot seat, nervously tapping your cold feet to the beat of the drips dropping from the leaky faucet in the sink. In sync with the drips dropping at the beat. It's the hip hop beat, drip, drop, in sync, in the sink. At first glance, you might not catch it. Baked into this cake is an enormous deception. To whom it converts. Whirling dervish world tour dates delayed due to dizzying headaches. Fishbone, flatworm, Fibonacci, gatekeepers signal. Flashing Freemasons. Jars of milkshakes. Fringe freezer unhinged. Spinning window breaks. Nervous outskirts brace for 5-star fire NATO. Floods, volcano, earthquakes, first place hopscotch, tidal wave, on pause, climax change, aftershocks available at half price. I'd like to get me an aftershock, please. I'll take 2. The future never comes when you're stuck in the past. Spent your whole life trying to make the moment last. I'm looking forward to not looking back. The more questions that nobody will ask, the less the story will begin to collapse. Fortune tellers foretelling the future a little too fast. You do the driving and I'll take a nap. Just wake me up if you're going to crash. Striving to achieve an impossible task. The future never comes when you're stuck in the past with your head up your ass. History repeats only because it's borrowed history that's been recycled numerous times. That's true. That's sad. Our people living in this current timeline have zero lineage that ties back to the founding fathers that founded this empty empire. 407 resets ago, our forefathers founded an empty empire, empty of people but full of loot, replete with engraven history written in stone. So they cleaned it up and called it home. First thing after unearthing a palace, they made a pact to never tell a soul the hard, cold fact. 407 resets ago. Start here. Oh yeah, this one comes with a little graphic. It's like a little globe of Earth. Start here. Start the riddle here. Can you see my drawing? Start the riddle here. You start here, right there at the very top. The very top. It's not really the top because it's just like it's the top, but it's not really. You're on top everywhere you go. Everyone is simultaneously on the top everywhere they are, everywhere around the world. Everybody's on top. But there is a real top where it spins like a top, and it's like the pole is like where the pole goes through, so you can spin it. You know, there's like a pole going through it, and you can spin it. That's a pole. You're at the pole where it spins at the pole. And so the sky that moves, the sun that the sky that moves across the sky, the sun that moves across the sky because you're on this thing and it's spinning. You understand that? So it's spinning, and so the sun looks like it's moving across the sky because you are spinning. Okay, so but when you're at the pole right there, you're not spinning. Well, I guess you are, but you're just turning around. You're not really going anywhere. You just the motion is zero because you're just turning around in circles. And so when you're there at the pole, the sun just sits there above your head and doesn't move. It just sits there all the time until during your summer season. So you get to the very pole where you're at the pole where the Earth turns, and the sun is right above your head, and it just stays there the whole fucking time, all summer long. Doesn't move. I mean, it's spinning, but you can't really tell. I mean, you can zoom in on it and see the sunspots spinning in a circle. You're like, wow, I'm at the pole. The sun is sitting there right above my head. It doesn't even move. No, that's wrong, Dr. Bass. We're tilted. We're tilted away from the sun. So there's no place you can go on Earth where the sun just sits in the sky above your head. That's wrong, Dr. Bass, because we're tilted. Okay, so this is tilted. So tilted, tilted in reference to what? The sun? Well, okay, so I guess if you're tilted at the sun, what do you mean? So we're tilted, we're still spinning. There's still a single point where we're spinning though. So how does it, how do you figure? I'm trying to, let's see here. There should be a spot where the sun just sits above your head. If that's not what we're doing, we're spinning and the sun moves because of the motion of the Earth, right? So if you're at a spot where there's not really any motion, you're just turning in circles, then the sun shouldn't be moving, right? That's what you said. The sun moves across the sky because of our motion. And so if we're at a spot on Earth where they say there's no motion because you're not going anywhere, you're just turning in a circle, there's no motion. They call that zero motion. They say that the Earth's speed rotates at 1,000 miles per hour at the equator and then reduces down to zero at the poles. So that's what they say. That's not me. That's what they say. And they say the sun moves across the sky because of the motion. But when you're at the one spot where there is zero motion, like they say, the sun should just be sitting there because the only reason you see the sun move across the sky is because of the motion. But if they say there's a spot where there's no motion, then the sun should just be sitting there, right? Right. But there's no spot where the sun just sits there because we're tilted. We're tilted. The tilt makes it so it doesn't do what it should do. The tilt. It's all about the tilt. So let's see the tilt. What are we, like corkscrewing or like tilted and wobbling? Is that what they say? Or is that why it doesn't sit in one spot? So it's not that the sun moves because of it spins so much. Well, I guess it does, but like the tilt and the wobble has something to do with it too. Then I guess. How exactly are we facing the sun? And not like at the point where there's no motion, how exactly is the sun still moving? They say there's zero motion at the pole because you're not going anywhere. You're just turning in a circle. They call that zero motion because you're not traveling anywhere. You're not moving in reference. You know what I'm saying? You're turning in a circle, but that's motion, yeah. But you're not traveling anywhere. So that's how they rate the speed. It's like it's 1,000 miles per hour at the equator because you're actually moving that fast. You're traveling that fast. When you're at the pole, you're not moving anywhere. You're just spinning in a circle. They call that zero motion. That's what they call it, zero. And so if the sun moves because of the motion that you're experiencing, well, then there should be a spot where the sun doesn't move if there's zero motion at that spot. I don't think the tilt or wobble explains that. I need to understand this. We need to go over this until I understand it. Somebody help me here. And if the sky appears to be moving because we're moving, then the star trails should all be trailing. Like if we're spinning in one direction. There shouldn't be a place on Earth where we can see the star trails diverge in two different directions. Because that's not indicating we're spinning in one direction. If you can see them moving off in two different directions, that's not an effect you would achieve in that circumstance where you're on something that's spinning. Everything that's going by you is going by you in one direction because you're spinning in one. You can't spin in more than one direction. When you're spinning in one direction. That's how it works when you're on a ball. See this thing right here? When this ball is spinning on your finger, your finger is the pole, and it's spinning in one direction. It could start to wobble, I guess, but like that would make for some sketchy. Like that wouldn't be like. How like nature is all like perfectly in sync and everything is all like synced up perfectly and it's all functioning in this perfect harmony, like how nature works. I think a tilted wobbling, like it doesn't sound like very harmonious. It sounds kind of like it's sort of haphazard. I don't think nature works like that, really. Nature doesn't work so haphazardly where there's all this wobbling and tilting. That sounds sort of haphazard to me. It doesn't sound fine-tuned and like I need to understand why, if there's this place on Earth where there's no motion because we're not traveling, there's no speed, why the sun isn't just sitting there above your head then. I mean, why? I don't think tilt or wobble explains that. I'm trying to understand this. Because if you're just looking up and you're turning in a circle, then the sun should just be sitting there in one spot. And if you're standing on the equator and you're spinning and the stars are going by you, they should just go by you. They shouldn't diverge into two different directions. How are you achieving that effect? You shouldn't see them trailing off in two different directions. You're moving you're spinning one direction. I just want to know how this works. I mean, I feel like I should know this already. If this is our cosmology, it's our reality. Is it just like our cosmology until we start thinking about it too hard, and then we're like, oh, wait a minute, there's some problems here. We can see too far. If we lived on a ball, there would be like Earth curvature obscuring the view, at a certain mathematical, geometric formula for it's like it wouldn't be so easy to see things far off in the distance that are behind the curve so often. It wouldn't be like the thing that you could experience. I don't think that really explains, like, refraction doesn't explain why you would be seeing a silhouette of a mountain hundreds of miles away, because refraction only works on light. It's a light thing. It's like, but a silhouette isn't a light. It's like a shadow. And so how are you refracting a shadow? Does that make sense to you? I thought refraction had to do with light. If you're seeing the silhouette of a mountain from fucking however many hundreds of miles away, that's not something you can't explain that away with refraction, because refraction has to do with light. A silhouette is a result of light, yes, but like, I don't know how a silhouette can be refracted up to eye level from behind a curve. I don't know if that works. I think you would see an absence of light, but I don't think the shadow itself, the actual object, would be refracted up if it's not being lit. Am I wrong? Am I tripping? Is there something I'm not understanding here? Like, if the light isn't shining on it, then how is it going to be refracted? Because I thought that was more of like a phenomenon that has to do with light. Light refraction. If the object in question isn't being lit up by the light, then it shouldn't be able to be refracted up. That's my opinion, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not understanding how refraction works. I think refraction is kind of like gravity. It works in whatever way you need it to. Kind of like when someone starts poking holes in your fucking airtight theory, like, that's how it works. It's like spackle. Spackle in the holes, fill it in. There you go. Put some refraction spackle on there. Slap a couple gravities on there, and then you're all good. It's all patched up. There you go. How come we're seeing the lunar eclipse while the sun's still in the sky? Isn't that supposed to be Earth's shadow cast on the moon? How is it casting Earth's shadow on the moon while it's still up above the horizon? We're not in between the moon and the sun, obviously. Look, they're both there in the sky. So how is our shadow being cast over onto the moon while its sun's there in the sky and the moon's there in the sky and we're over here looking at it? How exactly is our shadow being cast when we're not between the moon and the sun? Clearly, we're not between the moon and the sun because they're both in the sky above the horizon. How is that working? How does that work? Oh, well, it's refraction, and like, there's like they're not really there in the sky. They look like they are, but we're actually in between those two things right now. Even though you can see in there, it's just like refraction in the sky. Because, I mean, here's a little cartoon. Look, see, that's how it works. Oh, that's crazy, man. That's trippy. I thought it totally like it was impossible. I mean, that's why you call it the impossible eclipse, right? Is that a joke, or are you like trolling us or something? I didn't know science was about trolling people. That's kind of weird. The impossible eclipse. We're trolling you. It's totally possible. It just kind of looks like it isn't, but we're trolling. You just don't know the science. The science of trolling. You didn't catch that, I guess. It's a troll. Yeah, we troll people in science. That's how it works. Like when When there's things that seem impossible, we just say it's impossible. Just kidding. Here's the explanation. Here's a cartoon that explains it for you. You see, the cartoon shows you how it works. I mean, we can't demonstrate it in real life because we'd have to be like showing you the Earth, and it's like it's too big to do experiments. We can't like take an Earth into a lab and do experiments. So it's just like we don't know how it works, but it does. See, there it is. We don't know how our theory works. It just does. I mean, there it is. The Earth is flat. The sun is being seen from all over the place, and it's like it just doesn't have to work. It just has to be like that because it is. That's the science of it is what it does. Unless it can't do it, then it doesn't do it. It is what it is, and it ain't what it cannot do. And it is what it is, unless it isn't, then it ain't. Well, that's some sound science. It's the sound of science. The sound of science. You start getting a science headache after a while. My sciences are all getting all congested. I can't stand it. That science headache. I'm starting to get like parched mouth. I think I smoked too much pot. Cloudy cloud, cloudy cloud, drift away on a puffy cloud. Cloudy cloud, cloudy cloud, cloudy, cloudy cloud. I smoked too much pot, now I'm drifting away on a cloudy cloud. Drift away on a cotton ball. I write songs about the clouds. Cloudy, cloudy, cloud, cloud. I sing cloudy songs out loud. I smoke too much pot, and I'm drifting away on a puffy cloud. I write songs about the clouds. Cloudy cloud, sing it out loud. The cloudy cloud. This chord, there's some tension building. I feel the tension building. Cloudy, 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 cloud. Oh, cloudy, cloudy, cloud. Sing it out loud. It's so cloudy. It's actually perfectly clear outside. Never mind. This close to the real thing is just not enough. It's close to the real thing, you know. It's still just a bluff. I don't know how anyone will fall for that stuff. I need to see something with some real substance. I can sink my teeth into and chew. And you should know that in this world, nothing is free. And when it is, it's you that's for sale. Don't fail to see the irony when it's just this close. It'll never surpass the real thing. And where the fuck is that at? What did they do with the real thing, you might ask? They steal the real and give us back the fake. Say, here you go, it's all it will take. Would you like to buy some gold tokens? It's not real gold, it's just worth gold. It's the value of gold, but it's not really gold. You don't hold the gold, you just hold something that says somebody's holding your gold for you. That's right. Want to buy some? We got the gold over there, don't worry about it. It's real gold. You might as well be holding it, but we're going to go ahead and hold it for you. You bought the gold, you have the token there. There you go. Have a nice day. Just don't try to get us to pay for the gold. I mean, the gold is being held by us, not holded by you. You hold the token that means you have gold that we're holding. There you go. You don't have to see the gold. You just have to know that we're holding it for you indefinitely. But you can't play. Sell your token back to us, 'cause we don't want to buy it. We have the gold. That's what we hold. You hold the token that says you paid for some of this gold that we hold indefinitely. And you definitely have your value worth its gold, and we won't buy back what we've sold to you, 'cause that would be a silly thing to do. Here's your gold token. Have a nice day. Hopefully you see the way out quickly, 'cause we don't want to have to look at you any longer. We got your money. We think it's funny, but we don't want to see the look on your face when you talk to your friend and you realize you were taken for a fool. We hold the gold and you have sold your soul to have a token that will be redeemed by no one at no time in the future. 'Cause we hold the gold, that's what you signed up for, buddy. You don't get to hold it. You don't get to hold your gold. No. You get to hold the token that says you sold your gold to us. No, that's not how it works. I gotta go get a drink. I'm about to swallow my tongue. About to swallow my darn tongue over here. sucker open. I'm doing my part in reducing carbon. I drink carbonated water. My carbon footprint is small. It's so small. Everybody alive thinks of the Earth in the same way that flat earthers do when they're interacting with the Earth in any way, shape, or form. Basically, being alive on Earth, there is zero need to know its entire shape, nor is there a need to be aware of Earth's various alleged motions or general disposition in the grand scheme. So, being a flat earther for me just really means you're simply being honest about your objective experience here on Earth. Because everyone alive is busy experiencing the Earth in the same exact way flat earthers explain. And I can prove that everyone alive actually considers the Earth to be a flat plane, same as flat earthers do. They just don't realize it because they haven't thought about it. And there's, indoctrination, and you know, indoctrination prevents you from wanting to think about it. But if you were standing outside in the middle of an imaginary circle on the ground, and then that circle began to expand evenly in every direction while you remained standing in the center, do you think that if that circle kept expanding indefinitely, that you would always remain in the center if you stayed there where you were, where it started? Yes, everybody alive would say yes. I actually think it's the correct answer. However, if you really think that you live on a globe, you should have answered no, because the circle could only get as big as the median of the globe. Then, when it has to start shrinking back down to the other side of the world, it's closing in around a different center location that you are no longer in the middle of. So basically, everyone alive answered the way a flat earther should answer. My point being that everyone alive is a flat earther. They think of the Earth as being a flat plane. They don't say it out loud, or they don't even realize it. It's just something that it's our, to live on the surface of a 3D object is to, it's nothing that people are necessarily like programmed to think. Like, we don't really have that experience. Our minds aren't really programmed around that reality. We experience the flat and level stationary plane. We're not really considering the Earth's surface to be something that wraps around and forms a 3D shape. When I say, what's the biggest circumference you can draw on Earth? Most globers will tell you, well, the equator is 24,000 roughly whatever miles circumference. That's the biggest circumference you can draw on the Earth. And that's where it starts getting tricky. It's like, because I can draw a circumference around my neighborhood, circling my neighborhood. And so if you just think about, okay, the circumferences can just get bigger and bigger and bigger. They say the biggest one that you can draw is the equator, and it's 24,000 miles around. I'm like, well, what's inside of it? Like, that's a big circle. What's it circling? Like I said, my circle, I drew around my neighborhood. It's circling my neighborhood. So what's the equator circling? And like, I'll get various answers, which is silly because a circle is circling one thing. It's not like you draw a circle on the surface of the Earth. There's an objective answer. It's like, it's not any ifs, ands, or buts. It's circling one specific area. If you draw a circle on the Earth, it's like, when you go measure out your property line, it's like, it's imaginary, but it's also real. It's a real place that you can mark location, the location, the dimensions of your property. So what I'm saying is, if the equator is something like that, where it's just it's an imaginary line, but it is something that you can go and find the real location of it and mark it if you wanted to. So if it's the biggest circumference you can draw on Earth, then what's it circling? I just want to know what's inside that circle. I'll get answers like, well, it's circling the whole Earth. Like, really? So if the equator was my property line, would that mean I own the whole world? No. So what would it mean? Well, it would mean that you own either the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere. One or the other. So it's a circle that's circling one or the other location. It's like if I draw a circle around my house, it's not circling my house or my neighbor's house. It's just circling my house. So how does the equator work again? It's circling either the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere, or it's just the same. I'm just trying to understand because like a circle is circling something. And if it's like the biggest circle you can draw on the face of the earth, it should be circling the whole earth. And it shouldn't be any ifs, ands, or buts about it. It should just be circling the whole entire known earth. But the thing is, the equator is drawn in the tropics. So you get the impression it's drawn like if you were to start at the North Pole, the equator is drawn halfway across the world. So there's still plenty of Earth past that. How is that the biggest circumference you're going to make if there's more Earth past it? Like we experience a flat plane. Like if we were to start at the North Pole and start making circles, concentric circles that expand outward, how are they ever going to start to get smaller? They would just keep getting bigger. Because like realistically, that's what, when you draw a circle on the ground, it's always going to be impossible to draw a smaller circle around the outside of it. So that scales out. I mean, there shouldn't be any point in time where you can draw a big enough circle and now you're going to be able to draw a smaller circle around the outside of it. That shouldn't be, that's like we have to depart from reality in order to believe that, because the objective reality is like if I draw a circle on the ground, anybody alive will tell you it's impossible to draw a smaller circle around the outside of it. That's just, it's impossible. You can't draw a smaller circle around the outside of another circle. And it's always going to be the same situation. Doesn't matter like how big the fucking circle is. You're always going to be walking around the outside of it, which is always going to be a longer journey. You'll never be able to make it shrink is what I'm saying, because all that space is still going to be within it. That circle can only grow. That's just like logic. It's just fact. It's reality. You can say, well, no, it does start to get smaller because we live on a globe. But the thing is, you can't say we live on a globe as being proof that we live on a globe. So you have to actually go demonstrate it, which is like where like it ends up falling on my lap with globers. They're just like, well, you're going to have to go show us that they just keep getting bigger. I'm like, no, I'm showing you with logic. Like I'm showing you with just objective reality. Like, just think about it. I'm just showing you with logic. You're telling me that they have to start getting smaller because Earth is a globe, but that's not, I want to know. I'm using the thought experiment in a way to where it's like I'm showing you that to consider, to think that the Earth forms a 3D shape is pretty silly. Actually, you have to accept things that don't make sense, like upside down people. Nobody's upside down because gravity pulls to the center, so everybody's standing right side up. I understand. I get it. Yes, but regardless, there's people that are upside down in reference to me, or I'm upside down in reference to them, or sideways, or whatever. But what I'm talking about here is just logic. If you can't do something on a small scale, a smaller circle around the outside of another circle on the ground, you can't do it on a small scale, we have no reason to believe that it could be done on any scale. Because it's going to be the same situation no matter what you're doing. You're always going to be on the outside of that circle, making a bigger one. And so what's the biggest circle you can make on Earth? Well, I don't know, but it better be circling the whole fucking Earth. Shouldn't be any like doubt. Oh, maybe it's circling this place or that place. Here's a little visual demonstration for you. I don't think anybody's even watching me. Whatever. I'm just doing this for fun. Not trying to teach anybody shit. I'm just trying to show you that what you were taught doesn't check out. My phone outside. Oh, baby. You know what time it is? Huh? You know what time it is? I can't see the clock on my phone. Oh, okay. It's getting to be that time almost. Gotta go get my boy from school. This circle of the earth. It's the great circle of Earth. You kind of get the idea that Earth could be in the shape of a circle because you get the idea that the sun is circling because it goes off in one direction and then comes back, from the other direction. It's like, so it's either going through like a Pac-Man type hole, like fucking, or it's just circling over the top of us, or going underneath us and we're a ball. But the fact that the sun keeps coming back, it's like you have to be circling us somehow. So that's what implies the circle of the earth. And because there's like 24 hours in a day, we break it up. It's an arbitrary number, but it's like, but we have to break it up somehow, where it's like, so, and if the sun, we feel like there's like about 1,000 miles that are being lit by it per hour as it moves. So that's why they come up with 1,000 miles per hour. And like, since there's 24 hours in a day, it's 24,000 miles, it's a 24,000 mile circle the sun's making is what they deduced. But that doesn't have to mean that the earth, that's the biggest circumference you can make on earth. It doesn't have to mean that, because there should still be earth beyond that biggest circle. But that's the thing, the sun starts making smaller circles. Or does it? I don't know. That's just so weird. I gotta go and travel the earth. I can't really tell you what it does, because I don't know. Hey, what's up, Ash from France? I don't think anybody's even in here anymore, but hi. Or nobody. Nobody loves me, and I love nobody for that. I'd give nobody the shirt off my back. Nobody loves me, we go way back. Nobody's my buddy, and I love nobody for that. Nobody knows everything, nobody cares. Whenever I look, nobody is there. He's my buddy, nobody is my buddy. I love my buddy, nobody. He's called nobody, but he's somebody to me. I love nobody, he's the best friend it could be. Nobody's my pal, nobody really knows. That's how my song about nobody goes. Nobody's around, nobody's a square, nobody's a shill, and nobody is already there. I had some buffering issues. Is that you, 16 Alpha V? 16 Alpha V is in the house. Nobody's my buddy, nobody knows. It's like my show was a real flop. My show's a flop. I'm flipping and flopping, it's such a flop. I used to have viewers, but now my show ratings are in the sewers. If you were me, you would see how silly it can be. Unfortunately, though, I'm alone on this one. I'm friends with nobody, but nobody's a bum. Nobody loves me and nobody cares. That's why I love nobody. That's why nobody's my guy, nobody's my friend. He's my buddy named Nobody, and nobody is gonna be there when I call. Nobody is the kind of man who needs somebody like me to be a buddy too. Nobody loves me and nobody loves you too. Who is my buddy? Baby, buddy, boop, bow. My show's a flop, and I flopped on my face. I dropped all my links, and I deleted my face off the app. I said, fuck this crap. I ain't looking back. Don't know where I'm gonna go now, but nobody will be there with me anyhow. I don't know where my head has been lately. Been daydreaming more often than I'm this means? Do you know what this means? If it means anything, do you know what this means? If it means anything, maybe it means that my means to an end are ending, and I'm just stuck here pretending my means to an end are ending while I'm getting pipe drunk in a pipe dream where I might sing. I'm only thinking about the days that are coming, thinking about all the days that are coming. Oh yeah, but I missed this one, and I missed it, and that's it. What can you do when you miss it? Nothing. I said there's nothing you can do but move on when you miss it. That's it. There ain't nothing you can do but move on. So I'm moving on. I'm moving on with everyone who's also moving along. Moving along, moving further along. Singing my song about moving along. And we're just gonna spiral further down, further and further down, spiraling down. Spiral further down, that's what we're gonna do. We're spiraling further down, feels like we're coasting. I would like to make a toast to this easy way of living. It just seems so forgiving. This easy way of living. But I get lost in la la land while something else gets planned. I'm just left standing there looking dumb. I'm just left standing there looking dumb. Like I missed that once, I missed it, and that's nothing you can do when you miss it. I missed it, and that's nothing you can do when you miss it. I missed it, you can't get it back. You missed it like that, that's a fact. It's gone and you can't get it back. You missed it like that. Since I missed it like that, you know I can't get it back. You know I missed it like that. I know I can't get it back, so I must forge another one and try to become someone who's somewhat anonymous, so I can relax. Try to fall through the cracks. Try to relax, fall through the cracks until it gets right down to the wire. I have to retire. I have to retire. Spend the rest of my days on the run. Spend the rest of my days running like Forrest Gump. I'm just running. Like Forrest. My name's Forrest. Forrest Gump. They can't tell me to run and I'll limp away. It's cold. I'm just thinking about all the days that are coming. But it looks like I missed this one. I missed it and that's it. What can you do when you miss it? There ain't shit you can do. It's just gone. Gotta move on. Singing your song, just moving right along with everyone who is also moving right along. Just singing this song further along. And we'll spiral further down. Down, 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 down. It's like we're coasting, coasting. I'd like to make a toast to this easy way of living. It just seems so forgiving, this easy way of living. But then I get lost in la la land while something else gets planned. I'm just left standing there looking dumb. Standing there looking dumb. Like, I missed that one. Yes, I missed it, and that's it. Nothing you can do when you miss it. You can't get it back when you miss it like that. That's a fact. It's gone and it's not coming back. You missed it. And since you can't get it back when you missed it like that, you must forge another one and try to become someone who's somewhat anonymous. And try to relax, try to fall through the cracks. Don't look back, just fall through the cracks. Try to relax until it gets right down to the wire. And you have to retire. Spend the rest of your days running, trying to catch that one that you missed. You missed it. That's it. You can't get it back when you miss that shit. It's a fact. It's just gone and it ain't coming back. You missed it. You're a misfit. You want some faux pas? You want some faux pas? Eat all the veggies and faux pas on your plate. I like the faux pas special, please. I'm full of faux pas. I make faux pas all the time. I like selling them. I sell faux pas. They're little faux pas. I sell them. Get your faux pas. Get a faux pas. Get them while they're hot. Get them while they're wrong. Get the mistakes. Get them while they're hot, and get them while they're selling. I'm selling faux pas like hotcakes. It's like a faux pas. It's like it's not a friendly paw. It's a faux paw. A friend or faux paw. It's not the paw of a friend. It's a paw of a foe. Your faux paw scratch you, slap you, smack you, attack you. That faux paw. That faux pas. It's a mistake to make a faux pas. If you let that faux pas smack you, you done made a mistake, boy. That faux pas scratch you, attack you, come back and try to trick you, feed you misinformation. Hello? Is misinformation there? No, sorry, she got censored for speaking truth. But this is Mr. Information. What can I do for you? Oh, do you have any Mr. Information? Oh, yes, I do. I have all kinds of Mr. Information. We can't talk about it online, though, or on the telephone. We have to go and meet in person. I can get my truth net out. It's a fake, it's invisible, but you can gather truth with it. It's a big net. You're just gathering truth out of the ether. All the truth that's been censored off the internet, it's right there in my net. See, right there? I captured all that truth that was censored. They don't censor lies. No. Lies don't expose people. They censor truth because truth exposes people. And so it's a faux pas to speak truth that exposes somebody online. So they censor it. And so it goes out into the ether. It dissipates into the ether. But you can gather it with your truth net. It's invisible, but it's real. It's a real truth net. Look at all the truth I gathered in it. It was all right there. I recognize some of it. Some of it's mine. Some of my stuff got censored. I'm kind of honored because it's so true. It got censored. Like it's all on my net. See it right there? Well, what did you get? Well, I can't talk about it online. What do you think? I'm crazy? I don't want to get censored. I just reached 500